Welcome, everybody. Today is the 7th principle in NeuroGraphica. I'm just going to go live on Facebook for now. And then I'll be glad to start our session for today. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the world of NeuroGraphica. My name is Lana. Shalom. I'm a certified NeuroGraphica instructor and coach since 2018. I've been drawing NeuroGraphica since 2017. Yes, I would like to welcome you to our series on the 10 principles of NeuroGraphica. And today we will be discussing the 7th principle of NeuroGraphica, okay? Just give me a second as I just will look into just want to make sure that I am visible on Facebook. I'm just going to leave you here with this. Second, just so I have it. Okay. Just want to make sure that if anybody is writing anything, sometimes people write comments or questions, I will be able to read it and answer you guys, okay? Okay. Hi, Marla. Welcome, welcome. Glad to see you here. Excellent. So again, welcome everybody. Let's start our beautiful, the day is actually the 8th session, as the first session was where we covered all 10 principles of NeuroGraphica. Today we're covering number 7. It's an exciting principle. And as usual, let's go, this is brought to you by the World of NeuroGraphica. It's a group that I created with my beautiful partner, Margarita Miller. Margarita lives in London, I live in US, and together we decided, you know, we're going to expand, we're going to call our group the World of NeuroGraphica because that's what it is. We're in different parts of the world yet. We both love, you know, something so beautiful as NeuroGraphica, and we both want to bring NeuroGraphic to the rest of the world, to all of you guys, okay? So this week, just to let you know, today is Tuesday, August 17th. We will continue our series on Wednesday at 1 p.m., Thursday at 11 a.m., and Friday at 11 a.m. Okay, guys? The 10 principles, this is all the 10 principles. You can see this in the first session. We have, everything is available in open format as a replay on this page, the World of NeuroGraphica, within our group, the World of NeuroGraphica also, and of course on the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is called Lana Shalom. That's my YouTube channel. You're welcome to access it, okay? So going quickly to where we need to be, okay? Principle for number 1 stated, image integrates meanings. That we understand that meanings contain states of mind. And that brought us to the fact that problems are really the creation of our thinking mind. And then as we discuss problems, we understand that we're looking for solutions. And solutions in NeuroGraphica have bionic quality. And then harmony leads to satisfaction. The universe fits upon the tip of the marker. That was something we discussed last week. And as we're entering, so the first five principles kind of was like one part, the first part of the 10 principles. And now we're in the second part, right? In the graphical. The first part talked about the psychology part of NeuroGraphica, you know, the neuro part. What happens within the mind? Why do we do things? You know, how does drawing NeuroGraphica impact our mind, our emotions, the transformation altogether? The second part, starting with principle number 6, is about the graphic part of the word NeuroGraphica. It's about the graphical world. And we talked about it last session where we said the universe fits upon or on the tip of the marker. where we discussed that using a marker is, the marker is just kind of an extension of our hand. Everything we do in life, the body part that's the most active in our life are our hands. Our feet is also, right? We can agree, but some people have more active with the feet than the hands. Some people have more active hands, right? And when we take a marker, it becomes an extension of our hand, and it starts expressing something that the hand wouldn't be able to do on its own. The hand cannot make a mark on the paper. The marker can. And that's what we discussed last time. Today, we're going to go further. We're going to talk about the fact that any task has a graphical solution, okay? And as usually, when we discuss something like this, what do? We start focusing on the phrase and each part of the phrase, okay? So the first part of the phrase would be any task. The word task is bringing our attention, right? Taking our attention. And then we have graphical, of course, that brings us to the fact that it has to do with a part of the name NeuroGraphica, and the word solution, right? Solution is a positive word. It's what makes us happy, right? As we mentioned in the fifth, right? The harmony leads to satisfaction. Solution is what brings harmony, what brings satisfaction to our task. Let's discuss it, okay? Let's discuss the fact that when we talk about the task, we are used to, especially in the Western world, we're used to discussing or figuring everything out through the use of speech, okay? We can talk about anything. Wait 1 second. Okay, so I see it, okay. Sorry, as I stopped, something came up, okay. We can talk about anything through the use of our speech. 1 second, let me just make sure I have my, sometimes when you stop the, I had to stop the screen sharing, so I have to transfer the Facebook page here so I can see your comments, okay. As I said, every task we have in our life, we're used to figuring everything we know through the use of speech, okay? The famous field of psychology, what it used to be in the beginning, the psychotherapy, what Freud invented was psychotherapy, is about talking, right? It has the premises of, come, let's talk it out. Let's figure things out, okay? And this is interesting to know that we can talk about anything we want and anything we feel is important, anything we feel is relevant. This is a culture of talk shows after all, right? If you watch on TV, the daytime is full of talk shows, people talking everything out, However, if you think about it, psychologically speaking, not every thought and desire can be expressed through our speech ability. Thus, we often get stuck in various situations where our brain is overprocessed and we're still not sure what is it that we should do. Where do we get the money to go ahead for the project we're thinking of starting? How do I find the means to carry on the intended business idea? Should I go for my study and get that additional certification? Will I have the time? Will I have the means? My family needs to go on vacation. Where should we go? Should I buy a house now or should I wait? How do I reach harmony with my spouse, with my significant other? Sometimes talking about something, sometimes discussing things doesn't necessarily even solve it, but it may make things even more complicated as we tend to overprocess everything and overanalyze possible results and consequences. In the Eastern tradition, it's actually the opposite, right? We discuss now as a Western, where the thought is everything, discussion, mental ability is everything. In the Eastern tradition, it's the opposite. Problems are solved by becoming quiet. Thoughts are allowed to come into one's awareness, and then we'll let them float away, right? I personally love meditation. I practice meditation. It's part of who I am. It's part of my personality. I thrive on doing meditations. The person who does a lot of open sessions, leading group sessions, discussing, socializing with groups of people a lot. And the person who is what do you call that? I lost the word in my mind. I'm not an extrovert, but I'm an introvert. And I'm a very highly sensitive person, so I can easily feel, and I'm very empathic. So for me, meditation is an important part of my daily activities, okay? In order to refresh myself, I need to kind of meditate, let go of the thoughts, and just kind of renew, kind of go on again, okay? And it's interesting to know that that's what we do in meditation. We say, let's be quiet. The thoughts will come to us, but we're not focusing on it. We just let it come into our awareness and then float away, right? And one of the major goals is to clear one's mind, thus, again, not focusing on the solution to the task at hand, okay? So it's two opposing views. One view say, let's, just talk. And the other view says, no talking, let's just be quiet. Let's just quietly sit down and, figure everything out, okay? And it's interesting to know that's what NeuroGraphica does. NeuroGraphica proposes a different way to resolve any task ahead. The author of all 10 principles, is the author of NeuroGraphica, the founder of NeuroGraphica, Dr. Pavel Piskaryov, PhD. He says, and this is what he's telling you, he says, guess what? You can take any task and let's find a solution through the graphical initiation, through the graphical means, right? What he's saying is take a paper, you can take any task, put it on the paper using the tip of a marker, of course. Remember, every principle is built upon the principle below. Okay, so that's an important thing to remember. The previous principle was, the world fits on the tip of the marker. And now we're saying, take that tip of a marker, put it on a paper, mark each task with a symbol, right? In our case, a symbol is a shape, right? And start transforming it on the paper first. As you transform it on the paper, you consequently transforming it within one's mind, within your mind. You take it through your emotion. You start, noticing your body sensation. And consequently, within the whole being, you start transforming your whole self, your whole sum of who you are. Because remember, you're not just your thoughts. You're not just your emotions. You're not just your body sensations, your body parts. You're really a sum of all of them and beyond, right? You have a connection with the soul, and even that is just a part of who you are. You're really a sum. Your being, that's why I call human being, your being is much more than all those different parts of who you are, okay? Always important to remember that. When we draw NeuroGraphica, when we start utilizing this graphical way of finding a solution, we start transforming first things within ourselves, and then we'll look around and we're like, whoa, our environment start changing as well, okay? And it's interesting to know that absolutely any task can be translated into graphics. It can be translated into a sign, into a symbol, which is the basis for visual thinking, okay? And as we transform that symbol on our paper, according to certain drawing rules, right? We know in NeuroGraphica, we follow the algorithm. We follow what we call the 7 steps of the algorithm, okay? As we're gonna finish this week, the 10 principles of NeuroGraphica, next week, I'm gonna start delving into the 7 steps of the algorithm, by the way, just FYI. And those of you who want to learn more, okay, because what we're gonna do next week is we're gonna exactly what I did with the principles. We're going to take each step and kind of go dive into it in depth. But if you want to learn how to use the 7 steps, how to use the 10 principles, how to draw NeuroGraphic appropriately, so you can actually find a solution, because remember, the premises is that you can find a solution to your task. But that's why, and here I'm actually giving you the exact phrase that Pavel uses. You have to actually draw it according to the algorithm, the correct way of drawing NeuroGraphica, so that you can actually bring that transformation within your world, okay? Because that way of drawing will start the thinking mechanism in such a way that it will lead to the solution of the task, okay? And in this sense, any life task, issues of business, personal life, inner harmony, anything in your, whatever your task is, we can bring it to the solution within the graphical means, okay? And here's where I'm going to invite you. I'm going to transfer my camera, and we're going to discuss something that we call the NeuroGraphica. Second, let me just do this. I'm just going to prepare. Just going to transfer my camera. Okay, now you see me, now you don't. Yes, Lana, absolutely. That was, I actually originally wanted to start with the 7 steps, but when I did the 10 principles, people started writing to me saying, you know, Lana, let's dwell in it. And I said, sure, let's start with the 10 principles. And actually, I just, as I realize now that that kind of makes more sense. So yeah, I'm very excited to start to actually bring those plans of mine to realization. Let me change my background so you can see what's on my table. What you see now is the picture I just finished. I just had a session before where it was about Elul, but it was more than that. We actually used the practice of Ho'oponopono, and we infused it into the 4 worlds. We did the 4 worlds with you during, I believe, last week or the week before, maybe the 4th NeuroGraphic principle. And in the practice before, I'm inviting you, I'm kind of very excited. I just finished this, so I'm in a drive state, as you can see. I used the Ho'oponopono practice with the 4 worlds. You're welcome to watch. It's available in the replay, and I'm going to upload it to YouTube soon. But this is an exciting picture. Those of you who are in my NeuroGraphic coaching practice group, by the way, the phrases, you know, the phrases we use, I kind of went further. You can also use the Ho'oponopono phrase within your drawing as you do the ARL as well. So that's another thing you're welcome to. That's another reason why I'm welcoming you to watch that video. It's truly amazing video. But let's get back to what we're doing now, right? I kind of went off. Let's go. Yeah. Excellent. I'm so glad, ladies. I'm so glad. I'm so glad to have you here live, first of all. And second of all, to hear that you're excited. Yes. Excellent. Yeah. Absolutely. So I'm inviting you back to the 7th principle. So let's discuss something, okay? Let's discuss this premises that any solution has a graphical, any task has a graphical solution, right? And as we mentioned, right, we can take a paper, and then just, let's start thinking. I'm just gonna write here, so I remember 7th principle, because I tend to forget. And as Pavel says, take anything you have within your world. Ladies, by the way, if you didn't do your ARL today, we might get a chance to do it now. Take any shape, you know, any task, any topic you have within your mind, and let's start putting it on the paper, okay? Let's say my topic, right, as we're doing the 21 days, the NeuroGraphic coaching practice group, Our topic is financial growth, right? So I'm thinking, financial growth, as I think about it. So my financial growth would probably go something like this. If I am to put it on the paper, it would probably go as a triangle, right? Because triangle is a growth shape, okay? I myself would be here. This is me. I am a circle, right? And what I would like to achieve is I would like to achieve kind of stability within my financial growth. And I'm going to put stability as a square. Okay, like this. Okay. So as you see, I was able to express three aspects of my topic, right? I'm going to write my topic here. I'm not doing brainstorming just for the sake of this session. It's, this is not a full NeuroGraphica session, but rather just an explanation, right? Let's say financial growth, right? And success. Okay. So I'm thinking, as I am, you just saw what we did. We put three shapes for each aspect of my topic, each aspect of the task where I'm looking to find a solution. These three shapes are the symbols, kind of, right? This is me, myself, and I, right? This is my goal, right? And this is, that's interesting to know. This is my goal for now, but this is the realization of my goal, right? It's interesting to note, right, that the goal can have two aspects. This is what we are now, the current, the present, but this is the future. This is, I would also call it something called an effect, right? How do I see this goal realizing in my life in the future? You see how taking just three simple shapes, right? Kids know the shapes. Call any child, ages 3 and up. Some people know it from 2. And you tell them what are the shapes, and they're going to tell you circle, triangle, square. But putting them on a paper, these are graphical ways of solving whatever task we have ahead of us, right? See what happens? I'm just putting symbols on it. I'm saying this is me. This is my goal, right? The growth, the finances, right? Finances, right? This is my effect, my realization. This is the future. And here's what I want to tell you a little bit about each shape, right? This is something we usually learn in the neurocomposition course. I'm inviting all of you to take it, because what I'm going to tell you now for the next 5-10 minutes is really an 8, in our case, we actually did a 12-hour course where for 12 hours, we dwelled very deeply into this topic of shapes, graphically being able to express any task, learning which task represents which shape and putting it down to the paper. Okay, Marla, actually the aerial we're going to do now. The Ho'oponopono, I didn't do any aerial, I did a simpler. But right now what I'm drawing, I don't know if you're drawing with us or you're going to draw later, but we're going to do an aerial now. Quickly, not much explanation, but what I'm trying to show you is that when we draw a circle, the circle is a shape of comfort, of care, of it's a motherly energy, right? It's nature of a mother to hug a child, to comfort the child. It's a nature of a mother to bring the child into the world, right? Anthropologically speaking, circle is the shape the human being experienced, and still experiences in the nature the most, right? The fruits we eat are shaped mostly circular, even the vegetables, like root vegetables, something we eat for not comfort food, but for nutrition wise, right? It's shaped circular, right? Carrots, not carrots, I'm sorry, carrots are more triangular. Potatoes, beets, don't remember any root shapes or root vegetables for now for some reason, but the onions, right? Very, very nutritional, but and they're shaped as a circle. The first thing the baby sees when it's born is the circle. When the baby opens the eyes, nowadays they give the baby to the mommy, right? So mommy looks at the baby opens the eyes and sees the eyes of a mommy. These little circles within us, right? When a mommy is pregnant, when the woman is pregnant, her belly is shaped as a circle. Circle is truly the most natural shape we have around us. This is the way the human being gets to know that I can rely on nature, I can rely on the universe, I can rely on God to provide me with whatever I need. The sun is a circular shape. The moon that gives us light at night is a circular shape. The planets are circular, Start looking around and you will start noticing circles everywhere, right? If you look even at the marker, right, it's circular shape. If you look from the top, same thing with the tree, by the way. When you cut the tree, it's circular shape. Circle is the most basic, the most fundamental way the human being experiences the world, okay? By the biblical accounting, right? Account when Adam and Eve were expelled from the Garden of Eden, they got scared. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know what's going to happen to them. And that's why everywhere they looked around, things made sense to them. Comforting things made sense to them in a circle shape, right? The food they would find to eat to make sure they nourish their body was circular. They would eat apples, they would eat figs, right? Dates are oval, right? If you, excuse me, let me just drink some water. I did an open drawing on, I believe it was in February, probably, or January. You can look it up. It's called Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Shvat is a holiday when we celebrate. It's a new year of the trees. It's a birthday of the trees. And we discussed there the 7 special fruits. All the special fruits are circular. Those are the 7 fruits, the fundamental fruits of a human life, like they're very, like grapes, like dates, pomegranate, they're all circular. Circle is a shape of comfort, okay? And when a person is looking for comfort, when a person is looking for miracle, right? Some of you were asking about the miracle picture, right? And that's what it is. Mandala, the shape of a mandala, circular. Mandala is this also integrative, the name for a circle that they draw in monasteries, right? In Tibet, in like various practices in the East. And circle is what gives us comfort and care and love. If we always want to make ourselves feel better, all we have to do is just take a paper and draw lots and lots of circles. Now, triangle is a sharp shape. It's a shape of abruptive, aggressive energy, okay? If we compare the circle to a female energy who's loving and kind, maybe a child that comes crying, what does the mommy do? She just hugs and says, I understand, it's okay. Things happen. You just hug somebody. The triangle is a male energy. The triangle just wants to, it's sharp. It has 3 angles, right? Remember, angles in NeuroGraphica means sharp, discomfort, poking. Nobody likes when they're being poked, right? But sometimes it's important to be aggressive. Sometimes it's important to be sharp, it's important to be alert, right? And when you are looking for growth into any object, into any topic, you're looking for, you can add triangles, okay? There are different ways. You saw how I added a square and kind of sideways. You can do the same thing with triangles. There are different ways you can put triangles in different kind of directions. Again, we'll learn all of this in the neurocomposition course. For now, I'm just going to tell you, triangle is a way to achieve extra energy, extra drive, extra maybe even idea. Name of the video would be, it's a neurotree. Okay, we drew a neurotree. Look for the neurotree, an open neurotree that I did this January. If you go to my channel, you're going to see all the open videos. Just go a bit behind. And I believe it was the end of January that I did. Yeah, it was probably the neurospherode, because it was a combination with the neurospherode. Yeah, I think it's a neurospherode introductory. Okay, I'm going to find it and post it after this live session. Okay. So, excuse me. And The triangle is like, to give you an allegorical sense of what a triangle is like when you take something that's given to you by nature, right? Something circular, right? You take a tree, right? You take wood. How do you cut down the tree? You can bring down the tree. You can only bring it down through the use of some sharp tools. You use an axe, you use a sharp tool to cut down the tree, right? You can't, basically, triangle is man-made materials that we use to govern the nature, right? To bring changes into the nature. Excuse me. To bring nature into, to bring changes into nature as we are given. But we are human beings. We're here to conquer nature, right? My favorite allegory, my favorite example would be flying. Human beings do not fly. What did we do? How did we learn how to fly? We created airlines. We created planes, airplanes. We designed airplanes, we built them physically, right? We used sharp metal objects to create an airplane. And now people can say, I am flying, if you read any airline, fly Delta, right? Delta is my favorite, right? Fly Delta. You can't fly. Any human being would tell you, like, you can't fly, but we say we're flying because we are used to the idea that we are capable of flying, even though it's not a natural procession. Mm-hmm. And that brings us to the square. The square is when we take something that was natural, what we mentioned, right? We're taking wood, we're using axe or other sharp tools to cut it down. And what do we do with it? We built something. What can we build? We built whatever it is that we need. Human beings in the beginning would live in caves, right? Anthropologically speaking, they would live in caves. But with time, we didn't want to live in caves. We wanted more. The females, right? If talking again anthropologically, the females would tell to the males, I want to have comfort. Can you please create something more comfortable for me than just the cave, right? So the female was the catalyst, right? And the female, by the way, it's over here that we are yearning for something, right? We want something is at the level of the circle. The circle is a child. Remember, the child wants whatever the child wants. It has no concept of maybe I don't deserve it. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe it's not right. The child says, I want this. And the child starts asking. The child has confidence that whatever the child wants will come. This child grows up and becomes a beautiful woman, right? She gets married and she says, darling, I don't want to live in a small cramped apartment. We're going to have a baby. I want to live in a nice big house. Can you work for that, please? And the man says, yes, sweetie, of course. Again, we're talking anthropologically wise, guys. That doesn't mean that only man earns money or only man builds a house. Not at all. We're talking about energy wise, okay? The female energy is the one that starts dreaming, starts wanting, dares to dream, right? I call it daring to dream. What we do in NeuroGraphic, we're daring to dream. We're daring to go outside of what the circle we're in now. And the male energy within each one of us, whether you're a woman or a man, says, I can do it. I'm up for this task. I can build that tool. I can build a program that can learn, or I can get a job that will earn a lot of money. And then I'm going to go and buy you a wonderful, beautiful house for our family together. Where we have a bedroom for ourselves, a bedroom for one child, another child. We'll have a backyard, swings, as they call it, the whole American dream, right? 2 minivans and all that stuff, right? Nowadays it's changing. It's 2 SUVs, right? But the point is, anything you want, you can figure it out. Remember how I said you learn how to decide which shape belongs to what? So really, you know, the triangle is that part of me that's yearning to come out. It's the yin in us, you know, the yin and the yang. It's a yang in us, you know, it's that male energy that's bursting to come out, bursting to go and do stuff, you know, achieve some kind of success, right? It's that, what do you call that when somebody is very success oriented, goal oriented, not goal oriented, competition wise, you know, competitive, that competitive in us, that's a triangle. Bring it out, you know. Circle is that female part of us that says, it's okay. You buy a house and I'll be the one decorating it, you know, making sure it looks beautiful. Okay. And I just realized we may not have as much time as I thought we would for the ARL. So just do it on your own, guys. But I just want to expand more on the shapes. But in the square is that end, the realization of your goal. Okay, guys. To get to that goal, we need energy. To get energy, to understand that we have a goal, we need to get quiet, get relaxed, and say, oh, what is it that I want? What is my fantasy? What is it that I am yearning for? What is my dream? That happens on the circle level. Then you say, okay, in order to achieve that dream, I need resources. I need money to buy a house. I need, you can say, I need a good realtor. That's a good resource, right? Those of you buying a house, you know what I'm talking about. I need a good house decorator, right? You buy a house, that's your square, that's your effect, your realization, but it doesn't stop there, right? It's like children's stories, right? Fairy tales. And she and me, you know, the prince and the princess got married and they lived happily ever after, right? And it's like, you know, everybody who gets married have a joke. They're like, yeah, they forgot about the most important part, living after you get married. That's really even more important than, you know, you think the wedding is the most important part, but really it's after what happens after the wedding, right? And this is the square. Don't forget your effects. Don't forget your realization. Start dreaming. Start fantasizing according to the quadrants, the meta-modern quadrants. It's, I'm going to try to remember, it's fantasy, okay, dream, okay, let me tell you now, actually. I have it. This is a part of the class I'm taking now. Give me a second, I'll tell you, where is it? Right here. I just took that course.
Привлечение росло.
There you go. Yes. It's right here. It's yes, it's fantasy comes first, then we have a dream, then we start planning, right? The plan happens here. And the last step is realization, okay, guys? Okay, so the shapes, the assets, as we call it, in NeuroGraphica, go according to this quadrant: fantasy, dream, plan, realization, okay? And we have the fantasy. The fantasy is me, the circle. We have the dream, right? This is, well, no, fantasy is something that happens over here. The me, the circle is a dream. This triangle is the plan, right? When we start planning, when we start putting a lot of energy, right? Integrating energy and building up that energy, that's a triangle that's sharp, right? In order for the reality to kind of move from where we are now, we need a triangle. We need something sharp, something poking, something that can, you know, make space within something so concrete as our reality, as our life. And realization is a square. Now I'm going to ask you this: where is fantasy? How do we bring in fantasy within this world? How do we bring fantasy within our graphical solution? I think you guessed what it is. The fourth important asset in NeuroGraphica, the important asset in NeuroGraphica, because shapes have existed before. Like I said, any 2-year-old knows shapes. What are we missing? We're missing the neural line. As soon as you add the neural line, you're infusing your dream, your planning, and your realization with your fantasy, with your effects, right? When a person fantasizes, fantasy is very like, it's living like, when people live in the fantasy world, it has nothing to do with reality. It's not connected, but it's a perfect state, right? In their fantasy, people are the perfect state of who or what they want to achieve, right? But when it comes to realities, things often take a different turn. It's important to bring that fantasy, that effect of fantasy into your drawing. Remember that perfect you know how people like girls have this perfect state of that famous, kind of a joke or like, cliche where I have all my wedding planned out, except I just need a groom. That kind of thing, like where you take your fantasy of something so perfect, like when you dream about opening up your own business or starting something new, you take that fantasy, remember to infuse all of your plans with it, okay? Imagine yourself, bring yourself to the effect where you visualize yourself after you underwent all the realistic steps, finding the money, opening up the business, hiring people, hiring social media nowadays, right? Without it, you go nowhere. It's a social media designer. And then actually, buying the house or opening that business, opening that store of your dream or whatever it is, right? Don't forget to bring in that fantasy, that neural line that will infuse your dreams, your that solution you're looking for with the original state, when you were just thinking, wouldn't it be great to buy a house for our expanding family, right? That's what it is. That's how you start. That was one of the ways, right? I just gave you one example, how you can use the shapes, how you can use the, that's something we call fantasy, which is really the beginning. In a Kabbalistic term, we call it the Keter. The Keter is the crown. Those of you who study the chakras, the crown is the top of your head. This is the highest possible realm within any understanding of the way the humans function. And this is the place where we connect to the outside, to the external, to our soul, right? This is the way where we talk to ourselves. The soul is something that lives forever. Past, present, future is what our soul encompasses. So basically, the soul kind of knows what happened to us before, even though we have no memory recollection of our past life, right? The soul knows what's happening with us now in relations to what does it have to do for the future. The soul knows our future. Once we connect to the soul, we're connecting to this effect, to the realization of the future. We're connecting to the fact that our future contains the best possible scenario. It's important to just notice that while we're going through the reality, we don't want the reality to kind of ruin that best possible scenario. That's why NeuroGraphica effects or realizations are very important. NeuroGraphica, as we're going to talk about the 7 steps next. That's step number 6 for those of you who are advanced students who know what I'm talking about. Step number 6, as we emphasize, as we are doing the fixing, highlighting a certain shape, we are highlighting, bringing the effects. When you do the fixing, by the way, this is what you should be thinking. You should be saying, I opened up my business. Kind of, when you play chess, you go a few steps ahead. Like when you play chess, you always have to think beyond the step you're taking now. You always have to be 3 steps ahead. So same thing here. When you open up a business, you shouldn't just, it's important to have a business plan, by the way. Let's not underestimate it. It's important to dream about it, to make actual plan of carrying out your steps and getting to your realization. But do not underestimate the fact that you should be always bringing that effect, that original effect of that neural line that comes before. And look what happened. It always goes beyond. Remember, that's going to be our principle, I believe. Next principle. The NeuroGraphic drawing has no border or boundaries, meaning a neural line continues from before, and it goes further. Okay, I'm inviting you now to think which one of those shapes, which part of your task right now is more important to you. Is it the dreaming part? Is that where you are now? Do you want to emphasize it? Is it the action part? You want to emphasize the triangle? Would you rather emphasize the square, which is what I'm going to do? I'm going to emphasize the square, right? And make it thicker. I'm going to make it with a purple marker. Actually, I'm going to make a blue marker, right? I'm going to take a different color so I truly highlight the shape within my picture. And thus creating this effect, thinking, once you achieve your financial growth and success, what are you planning? How will you be enjoying it is what my question to you would be. Okay, and by the way, that's what we're going to do soon in our coaching practice group, ladies. I'm going to bring you a series of wonderful questions you can ask yourself as you are drawing. No self-coaching or just regular coaching, and you can use it with your work with clients. What can I do? How will I be enjoying my goal once it reaches realization, right? And I'll tell you, some people, when they get to this, if you ask them, I mean, when I do this with clients, they're like blank. They start thinking about it. They don't get to this point. They're so keen on their dream. They're so keen on their triangle, finding the resources to start this project, and which is important. Again, I'm not underestimating, very important, guys. They kind of forget, they start the project and they kind of forget, how did my project, why am I doing this, And actually, what I just did before this session, in the previous session that I had, live streaming, I actually talked about it, how important it is to complete, how we often start things because we're here. This area is the best area, right? When you're a child, you're full of dreams, right? Like my children love that song from The Greatest Showman, right? About where he sings about the dream, how his head is full of dreams, right? The P.T. Barnum, but realizing them took much more than just dreaming. Realizing them took a triangle, took taking action, daring, risking stuff, right? And then he got to the point where he built his business, right? Just moving in my mind because my kids recently watched it. But then it kind of fell apart because it didn't come out fully the way he wanted to. The circus didn't actualize fully in the right way as he wanted to, in that perfection state. And that's what happens in NeuroGraphica. We have a chance to achieve the perfection state. Don't forget to emphasize your completion. We often start with dreams and we're very excited. The dreams are bigger of who we are. Sometimes the circle is here, right? It gets bigger and bigger. And sometimes our dream, we get enough resources to start bringing the triangle, to start having actions, to acting upon our dream, making a plan and finding the means, the resources to realize it. And then we'll get to our realization. Right now, as you're planning, don't forget to make this realization, to dream more about how you will be completing, what is happening in your completion state, okay? I'm going to leave you here. You can enhance your picture with anything you want to. For example, let's enhance it with a color, right? Again, think about the energy you want to give each project step, right? Remember, step 1, step 2, step 3, Don't forget the neuroline, right? The flow, the energy. You can give that color too, right? And you can think, what color would be my beginning of my task? You know, as I'm looking for that solution, as I'm dreaming about my goal, or I call it the quest, right? You would say, what color is it? And I realized, let's say for me, it's color orange, right? It's orange is a great, it's like this epitome of a circle, right? It's this female energy, the color of female energy when the, of wanting. It's a color, chakra wise, it's a color of the uterus, right? It's where women starts conceivement, it's emotion, it's a pleasure, right? This is where I want to concentrate on my dream. This is where the pregnancy takes place. This is where the conceivement, the embryo meets, the egg meets the sperm, and the embryo is formed, right? And then you go further, right? What color would you say your triangle is? Is it the color? I think I'm going to make it maybe yellow, maybe not. I think the yellow is going to be probably my energy. I want to already start my energy, as I realized, as I took yellow. It's not my triangle. I'm not ready for the triangle. I need resources to get to the triangle. So I'm going to start adding color to my neuroline, to this beautiful, energy that I'm putting in within my circle. I'm getting to the triangle and I'm thinking, I'm going to put the energy first, the resource. The yellow color is my resource, right? And then I'm thinking, what color would I put for my energy? And I realize it's color blue. It's blue. I'm going to make it blue. Voila. Blue is the color of the element. I'm studying Botzy now. The colleague of mine, Vera Zhichkova. And I realized that my element, I'm the element, I was born in the element of wood, air, wind, not air, I'm sorry, wind. Air is earth, I was wind and wood. So I really need lots of water, and I'm missing water. That's a resource I'm missing in my natural order, but that's okay. As long as I add lots of things in blue, that's why I often draw with a blue marker. I added blue, and now I feel so comfortable. I feel like I'm ready to go further into my completion, at least on the paper. And that's the premises of NeuroGraphica, right? In my NeuroGraphica drawing, I'm already here. I'm at the realization. And what is my realization? I start saying, and this is where I'm going to repeat what I said before, daring to dream. This is what we need to learn as human beings when we grow up. Children come ready. They dream so easily, guys. Just talk to any child. They will give you their fantasy. And you will think, whoa, you can think about stuff like this, right? I worked with children for 20 years. I'll tell you, truly, fantastic part of me. I love working with children. They're so pure. They're so fun. With them, you can think about anything you want. You don't have to feel, oh, maybe that's not appropriate. It's right, I mean, in a good way, of course. And as children grow up, they're told by adults, this is not okay. You shouldn't be doing it. It's not socially acceptable. You need to change the way you act to do something more appropriate for your age. You're getting older. And children become teenagers first, who start to learn to suppress their feelings, suppress their hormonal understanding of the world, suppress their emotions, and of course, suppress their thoughts, right? And then they become adults who go through life, and they often train to do what others tell them to do. You have to do what your job tells you to do, what your boss tells you to do, right? I'm a freelancer. I am a freelancer. Even when I worked with children in education, I was a freelancer. I would work with children one-on-one as a special educator. I need to be a freelancer. That's a part of who I am as a person, right? Many people are like that. But thinking about it, this is how you learn to dare to dream. What is your effect? What is that you want to achieve? And if you tell me world peace, I'm going to say that's a beautiful achievement, but are you sure this is what you want? Or it's something that you think you want because that's what you've been told. your whole life, right? Let's achieve world peace, like the pageants, right? And I'm going to say, I want to achieve harmony. Remember, we discussed that 2 sessions ago. Harmony leads to satisfaction. Find a color that would be your harmony. And over here, we're going to finish now, but I want you to linger a bit more. Do a brainstorm. That would be your topic 2.0, even if you didn't have a topic 1.0. Start thinking, what is this shape to you? What is this satisfaction? What is this harmony? What are you talking about? Harmony and satisfaction in what? What's here? Okay. Do a brainstorm. That's where I'm going to leave you. As you add the color, as you infuse yourself with resources and energy, start thinking, what is this? Okay, where am I? What would I like to achieve here? Okay. I want to make more orange. Oh, there you go. I realize, look at this. I realize that I come to the effect and realization. And I'm like, I need some more resources to fully understand where I am. And at this point, I look at my dream and I realize, it's a bit too light for me. I want to make it darker. I want to make it more infused, more hued, more highlighted, more orangey. And right away, I found a darker orange marker. Sometimes that happens, guys. Sometimes you start with a dream, but it's not. And even though you start working toward it, you have enough resources to build the triangle, to start actions, to start planning and acting out on it. But it's still not enough for you to get to the realization. So you can go a step behind and kind of say, what if, I add another element? You can actually add resources here. You can I added color as a resource, but those of you who are advanced students or those of you who wants to learn how to do that, guys, come learn NeuroGraphica with us. We're doing the basic sessions this week, right? We started on Sunday. We're going to do another session, the basics course. We have the second session coming up next Sunday. It's absolutely fabulous. It's expansion of what I'm trying to tell you now within this 1 hour. And those of you who want to complete your picture, and you're welcome to post it in our group, The World of NeuroGraphica. I want to come back to you in person as I'm going to say goodbye, as I want to thank you for joining me in this session, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching and recording. Both are great, are fine. I'm applauding your decision to dare to dream, to start, daring to think that I can bring transformation within my world. I can learn something new, and you're daring. Take your daring and go further. I'm wishing you lots and lots of success. You're welcome, Lana. Thank you for joining us. Our next live session, the next principle we are learning will be, like I mentioned, we're going to have paper has no boundaries, and it will be tomorrow, Wednesday at 1 p.m. Okay. I'm inviting you to come join us, and wishing you a wonderful, beautiful summer day ahead. I'm looking forward to seeing you in our open sessions or our other certified courses. Please join us. We would love to see you. We would love to learn and to draw with you. And all our open sessions are open. And if you are interested in kind of reciprocating the energy you receive, you're welcome to send your donations to Lana Shal. You can go to paypal.me/Lana Shalom. You can PM me, I'll send it to you. It's just for the nationwide. You're welcome to. It's not a requirement. We're enjoying you being with us. Enjoy the rest of your day and see you tomorrow. Goodbye.